Alright, so this is my speech. My parents are on the phone. I had 2 people ditch me, so I have 2 virtually. Got 1 over there, 1 there, and then there. Can you say hi, both of you, so that he knows that both of you are here?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so they'll be tuning in next to me. Everybody good?
Yep.
Excellent.
Alright. So, bang. That's all it takes. 1 shot and someone is hurt or maimed. So, firearm safety is a top concern when handling them. It's even more critical when you're concealed carrying. Due to the fact that safety is so critical, I'll be telling you and showing you how to load, unload, and concealed carry a firearm. So, first step in any firearm situation is loading a handgun or firearm or whatever you have. So I made sure this is safe beforehand, so it is fine. So loading your firearm is a critical part of using a firearm. If you don't load it correctly, it could malfunction, misfire, or may cause it to be inoperable. Loading a gun safely is also important because for a firearm to be functional, it needs to have ammo. Without ammo, it's simply just a very expensive hammer. So, that being said, loading a firearm means that you should be safe to those around you as well. Make sure the gun is pointed in a safe direction at all times, just like hunter safety said. And you're responsible for every projectile that leaves the gun. Treat every gun as if it is loaded, even if it is not, and you know it's not. Nextly, so right now it's pointing in a safe direction, safe direction, safe direction. And finally, how to load a handgun. First, you take the magazine, most notably with your finger like this towards the tip of it. That way, when you put it in, you can get a safe seat and it stays in. Make sure you're keeping it in a safe direction at all times. In the academy, we're taught where you keep your pistol like this in front of your face. It's called the workshop. That way you can load and unload your firearm safely without ever flagging anybody. If you are loading it and your firearm has a safety, this one does not, it has a trigger safety because it's a Glock. If you have a safety on your pistol, make sure that's activated before you insert the magazine. Next, when it's seated, you make sure it's seated properly. So you give it a little tug, push it, pull it, hit it if you need to. Not too hard though. And that will make it so that the ammo seats properly, and when you load it, it doesn't cause a malfunction. And then the last step, I'm not going to be able to do it with the magazine in because it is empty, is to grab the slide with all 4 fingers in your thumb, pull back, and let go. And then that loads the weapon. Like I said, it is not loaded. Simply if I pull back, it locks the slide, so I'm not able to demonstrate that properly. So the next part to conceal carrying is your holster. There's many different types, shapes, sizes. I prefer this one. It's just an appendix carry holster. Many holsters are inside the waistband, such as this one. You simply take it and clip it onto your belt. Sometimes, since we're in Wisconsin, it's a cold state, winter sucks. People have to wear lots of clothing. Sometimes an outside the waistband is more practical then. That way you don't have to go through different layers of clothing to pull it up. So there's 3 main styles, 3 main carries mostly. There's the appendix, which is on the same side as your gun hand. There is the cross draw, or no, not the cross draw, the hip, and the hip side of your gun hand. So the holster would, instead of being right where your appendix is, it'd be on your hip. And then the last one is in the small of your back. That one is kind of self-explanatory just because some people like to keep their guns back there. Drawing from concealed carry. So there's just a couple important points on that one. So you want to make sure, just as the same as drawing a gun normally, you want to get a good firm grip on it, and you want to pull. you can feel where it, and here, where it locks in place and doesn't lock in place. So you want to get a good grip, just the same as everything. And if you need to, lift up your clothing a little bit, pull, and then your firearm's drawn. It's very simple, very self-explanatory. And reholstering, after you draw it, you're going to need to reholster it if you're concealed carrying for whatever reason. So you're just going to lift your shirt slightly back up, put the barrel in, you're going to hear it go in, and then you're going to hear it click into place. Then it's seated and it's properly holstered. So unloading the firearm. When you're done, you should always unload the firearm. When you want to, make sure you point the weapon in a safe direction. You put your non-gun hand underneath the magazine, press the magazine release, pull the magazine out, put it in a pocket or whatever. Or if it's empty and you're in a situation where you need to reload, you reload. So then your magazine's out. The next step is to lock the slide back, and if you do have one in the chamber, it will eject. And so, unchambering the round, in the academy we're taught to visually and physically inspect the weapon as well. So you want to look inside there and you'll be able to see the chamber if it's empty. If you guys want, I can show you. Right there is where it would be.
Okay.
You should be able to see it right about there. Barrel. And that's where it would sit, inside there. So, once you have physically and visually inspected it, your weapon should be clear then. You have nothing in the magazine well, you have nothing in the chamber of the weapon. You can release the slide back to the front, and then you have no ammunition left in it. Now, just a couple things. Loading your firearm before you conceal carry is important. You okay? Alright. Loading your firearm before you conceal carry is important, or before you use it. Concealed carrying properly is also important. That way the different positions, such as this one, you're not, if something ends up happening, you're not hitting yourself at all. That's why I like that position better. And drawing your firearm are important, loading your firearm are important, and it could be the difference between life and death. I'm sure we've all heard of the church shooting in Texas in 2019, where the concealed carry, there was 2 people who were concealed carrying in the church, and there was a gunman who started shooting at people, and the one guy, he was concealed carrying, he drew his weapon and shot the guy once, and it all happened in a matter of mere moments. That could be the same for anybody else too. Stuff like that's been happening a lot, and it's unfortunate. So that could be the difference between life and death for you, your family, and the people around you.